Have you ever wondered why native English speakers sound so natural and fluent, while learners often feel stuck or robotic? Is there a secret they're not telling us? On an ordinary morning, a small but powerful element in their speech, phrasal verbs like pick up, put off, or break up, might be the hidden key. But why do these simple-looking phrases confuse so many learners? What makes them so tricky, yet so essential? Today we're unlocking the mystery behind phrasal verbs, the language puzzle pieces that could transform your English from textbook learned to truly native-like. Let's dive into this linguistic adventure together. Now that we've sparked your curiosity about phrasal verbs, let's take a closer look at what they really are and why mastering them is such a crucial step in becoming truly fluent in English. At first glance, a phrasal verb might look like nothing more than a verb followed by a small word like up, off, or in. But when combined, these seemingly simple parts create a completely new meaning, often one that's impossible to guess just by translating the words individually. So what exactly is a phrasal verb? Simply put, it's a combination of a verb and a particle, which is usually a preposition, like on, in, up, or an adverb. When these two parts come together, they often form an idiomatic expression, meaning the resulting phrase has a meaning that's different from the meanings of the individual words. For example, the verb look by itself means to direct your eyes. But when you add a particle, like up, you get look up, which often means to search for information, not just to look upward. If you say look after, you're now talking about taking care of someone, not staring behind them. This transformation is what makes phrasal verbs so fascinating and so frustrating for English learners. They're unpredictable and don't follow the logic you might expect from basic vocabulary. That's why so many learners struggle with them at first. They're like little puzzles you need to solve, and solving them requires not just knowing vocabulary, but understanding how native speakers think and communicate. But here's the truth. Native English speakers use phrasal verbs all the time, in casual conversations, professional meetings, TV shows, podcasts, emails, and texts. They often choose a phrasal verb instead of a more formal single-word verb. For instance, instead of investigate, we might say look into. Instead of cancel, we'll say call off. Instead of tolerate, we say put up with. These expressions make English sound more relaxed, more real, and more native-like. Trying to understand native conversations without knowing phrasal verbs is like reading a book with missing words. You might catch the general meaning, but you'll miss the emotion, the details, and the natural flow. That's why phrasal verbs aren't just vocabulary items. They're essential building blocks for real communication. So if you want to not just learn English but live it, breathe it, and speak it with confidence, then phrasal verbs are a must. In the sections that follow, we're going to break down the most important ones, show you how they work, and guide you through using them in real-life contexts so they become second nature to you, just like they are for native speakers. Now that you understand what phrasal verbs are and why they matter so much, it's time to dig deeper into how they actually work. This is where many learners feel overwhelmed. But don't worry. Once you recognize the patterns and the logic behind them, these tricky little phrases become much easier to handle. The first important point is to understand the two main types of meanings that phrasal verbs can carry: literal and idiomatic. A literal phrasal verb is one where the meaning is exactly what you'd expect from the combination of the verb and the particle. For example, sit down means to move into a sitting position. Nothing strange there. But idiomatic phrasal verbs are different. They create a new meaning, often one that you can't predict by looking at the individual words. For example, give up doesn't mean handing something upward. It means to quit or surrender. Or run into doesn't mean physically colliding with something. It usually means to meet someone unexpectedly. These are the kinds of phrasal verbs that learners need to focus on the most because they carry meanings that don't translate directly and can cause confusion in conversations. Another key thing to know is that phrasal verbs often change meaning completely depending on the particle. Let's take the verb look again. Look up can mean to search for information. Look for means to try to find something. Look after means to take care of someone. Each version of look plus particle creates a different and unique phrase that must be learned separately. This is why phrasal verbs are sometimes compared to idioms. You can't just break them apart and guess. There's also the matter of grammar structure, which trips up many learners. Some phrasal verbs are transitive, which means they need an object. For example, I picked up the phone. Others are intransitive and can stand alone. The plane took off. Even trickier, some transitive phrasal verbs are separable, meaning the object can come between the verb and the particle. Pick up the phone or pick the phone up. But if the object is a pronoun, it must go in the middle. Pick it up, pick up it. In contrast, inseparable phrasal verbs never allow the object in the middle. For example, look after your sister, look your sister after. While these grammar points can feel complex, the best way to master them is not by memorizing rules, but by learning phrasal verbs in context. Listen to how native speakers use them. Read full sentences. Repeat and shadow real speech. That's how your brain will begin to absorb the patterns naturally, just like a native speaker. Coming up next, we'll explore the most essential phrasal verbs you can use in daily life, starting with your morning routine. After breaking down the structure and meaning of phrasal verbs in context, let's now shift our focus to the practical side. How phrasal verbs show up in your everyday life, starting from the moment you wake up. One of the first phrasal verbs you probably use every morning is get up. This simply means to rise from your bed after sleeping. For example, I have to get up at 6 a.m. for work. It's a verb you'll hear all the time because it's directly connected to your daily routine. Think about it. What time do you usually get up? Try saying aloud, I usually get up at 7. Closely related is wake up, which means to stop sleeping. The difference? You wake up first, you become conscious, and then you get up, you leave the bed. I usually wake up before my alarm, or the noise outside woke me up. This verb can be used both transitively and intransitively, and it's incredibly common in casual conversations. After waking up, you probably put on your clothes. That's another essential phrasal verb. Put on means to place something on your body. Clothes, accessories, makeup, etc. It's cold. I need to put on a jacket, or she puts on lipstick every morning. You can even say, I like to put on music while I cook. It's a versatile, everyday phrase that instantly makes your English sound more natural. Of course, if you put something on, you'll eventually need to take it off. Take off means to remove something from your body. Please take off your shoes before entering. But don't forget, take off also has a very different meaning when we're talking about airplanes. The plane is scheduled to take off at 10 a.m. Later in the day, you might need to pick up something. This verb has multiple uses. It can mean to physically lift something from a surface. Please pick up your bag. It can also mean to collect someone. I have to pick up my brother from school. And even more abstractly, it means to learn something. He picked up some Spanish while traveling. As you can see, just one phrasal verb can carry multiple meanings. Context is everything. After picking something up, you might need to drop it off. Drop off means to take someone or something to a place and leave them there. Can you drop me off at the station? It also has a second informal meaning. I was so tired I almost dropped off during the movie, meaning you nearly fell asleep. Lastly, when your space gets messy, it's time to clean up. Let's clean up the kitchen after dinner. Or, I spent all morning cleaning up my room. This phrasal verb helps you describe real-life actions while making your English sound effortlessly fluent. As you can see, phrasal verbs are woven into the fabric of our everyday lives. Learning to use just a few of these in your own routine will make a huge difference in how comfortable and confident you feel speaking English. Next, we'll explore phrasal verbs used in conversations and social interactions. Now that you've seen how phrasal verbs play a vital role in daily routines, let's turn our attention to social interaction and communication, areas where phrasal verbs are absolutely everywhere. Whether you're having a casual chat with friends, making plans, or expressing your feelings, these expressions allow you to sound more natural, friendly, and emotionally accurate. Let's start with a phrasal verb that is used constantly in everyday social life, hang out. To hang out means to spend time with someone in a relaxed and informal way. Do you want to hang out after class, or we used to hang out at the coffee shop every weekend? It's casual, friendly, and very common among native speakers. Try saying, "Hey, let's hang out this Saturday." Another one you'll hear often is get along with. This means to have a friendly relationship with someone, to not fight or argue. I really get along with my co-workers, or do you get along with your neighbors? In English-speaking cultures, being able to express harmony and cooperation is essential, and this phrasal verb helps you do just that. You might say, I usually get along with most people I meet. When you're inviting someone to your home, you can say, come over. For example, would you like to come over for dinner tonight? Or, my friend is going to come over and help me study. It's more natural than saying, visit me, and it sounds warm and welcoming. You can even say, feel free to come over any time. Let's say you had an argument with someone. Unfortunately, that happens in life. You might say that you fell out with them. Fallout means to stop being friends due to a disagreement. They fell out over money and haven't spoken since. If the situation improves, you might make up, meaning to forgive each other and restore the relationship. After the fight, they made up and everything went back to normal. Sometimes relationships don't recover and people break up. This phrasal verb usually refers to ending a romantic relationship. They broke up after 5 years together. But be careful, break up can also mean to lose phone signal. You're breaking up, I can't hear you clearly. And in casual conversations, if someone is stressed, you might tell them to chill out, to calm down and relax. You're worrying too much, just chill out. It's friendly and informal, often used to lighten the mood. You can also say, I'm just going to chill out at home tonight. These phrasal verbs are more than just phrases, they're social tools. They help you sound friendly, approachable, and relatable. They allow you to navigate emotions, relationships, and everyday interactions smoothly and naturally. Up next, we'll explore phrasal verbs used in work, problem-solving, and personal development, taking your English to a more advanced professional level. After learning how phrasal verbs can improve your casual conversations and social interactions, let's now shift into more professional and problem-solving situations. Whether you're studying, working in an office, or managing personal tasks, phrasal verbs are essential for sounding natural and capable in more formal or task-driven contexts. Let's begin with put off, a phrase many of us are familiar with, because we often do it. Put off means to delay or postpone something. For example, don't put off your homework until the last minute. Or, we had to put off our trip because of work. It's a common way to describe procrastination and time management issues. Think about something you've been delaying. Try saying, I need to stop putting off that important phone call. Next is carry out, which means to perform or complete a task, plan, or instruction. This phrasal verb is frequently used in both academic and professional settings. For instance, the engineer will carry out the inspection next week, or the team is carrying out a customer satisfaction survey. It implies action and completion with responsibility and precision. Another powerful one is figure out, which means to solve or understand something. I'm trying to figure out how this new app works, or can you help me figure out what went wrong? It's often used when analyzing problems, solving puzzles, or navigating challenges. It's especially useful in conversations about decision-making and learning. We also have set up, which means to organize, arrange, or establish something. Let's set up a meeting for next Tuesday. Or, they recently set up a new business downtown. It can also mean to prepare equipment or a space. Did you set up the projector for the presentation? This verb is incredibly versatile and widely used in professional environments. When a task is finished, we often say wrap up. Let's wrap up this meeting and head out. Or, I need to wrap up my report by Friday. It's a natural and efficient way to say finish, and it can also mean to cover or protect something. Make sure to wrap up warm, it's freezing outside. Then there's give up, which has two main meanings: to quit trying or to stop a habit. No matter how hard it gets, don't give up. Or, I gave up sugar last year, and I feel great. This verb carries emotional weight. It's often tied to motivation and self-discipline. And for those moments when focus is crucial, there's knuckle down. This means to start working seriously, especially after a period of distraction. I need to knuckle down and finish this project, or it's time to knuckle down and study. These phrasal verbs don't just help you express tasks, they show your mindset, your productivity, your attitude toward work and challenges. They make your English sound capable, professional, and truly fluent. Now that you've explored phrasal verbs across daily life, social situations, and professional contexts, you're equipped with the tools to speak English neck.